Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good day to you, sir. I am Aisa Adia, and my task is to report the lesson 2, which is brief summary of the first voyage around the world by Magellan by Antonio, and also to analysis of Pigafetta's Chronicles. First of all is we need to know who is Antonio Pigafetta. Antonio Pigafetta was an Italian scholar and explorer. He joined the expedition to the Spice Island led by the explorer Ferdinand Magellan under the flag of the Emperor Charles V, and after Magellan died in the Philippines Island, the subsequent voyage around the world. Si Antonio Pigafetta ay isa siyang scholar ng Italia at manlalayag. He joined an expedition to the Spice Island led by explorer Ferdinand Magellan. When we say the expedition is a journey of voyage undertaken by a group of people with particular purpose. That means Antonio Pigafetta joined the expedition led by Magellan. Si Magellan ay isa rin pong manlalayag at siya yung namuno o siya yung nanguna para mag-conduct noong expedition na yon. Ang bawat expedition ay ginagawa lamang siya for particular purpose. Siya at ang purpose ni Magellan is to discover Western Sea. What is the purpose of Magellan voyage in the Philippines? The Philippines, though the state's goal of Magellan expedition was to find a passage through South America to the Moluccas, and return to the Spain landed with the spice. At this point in the journey, Magellan seemed to acquire a zeal for converting the local tribe to Christianity. Another goal ni Magellan sa expedition niya ay para makagawa ng daan sa South America to Moluccas. Layunin ni Magellan na i-convert ang local tribe into Christianity. Ang Ladrones Island ay kilala ngayon bilang Marianas Island. Ito ay matatagpuan sa timog silangan ng Japan, timog kanluran ng Hawaii, hilaga ng New Guinea at sa bandang silangan naman ng Pilipinas. Makalipas ang 10 araw na paglalakbay nila sa Ladrones Island ay umabot naman sila sa tinatawag ni Pigafetta na Isle of Jamar na ngayon ay sama to an untenanted island. Kumbaga, unexpected siya, wala sa plano nila. So, nagplano si Magellan na pumunta sila sa lugar na yon para sa kaligtasan nila at para dun sila magpahinga for a few days. According to Pigafetta, he characterized people as very familiar and friendly daw. So, ang kanilang sasakyan sa paglalayag ay umabot sa Humuno Island kung saan dito nila natagpuan ang tinawag naman ni Pigafetta na weathering place of good sign. Dito rin nila natagpuan ang sign of gold. That means in that place, na-discover nila na ang gold sa lugar na yon. Pinangalanan nila ang isla na yon bilang Archipelago of Sitio Lazarus. Pagsapit ng March 25, umalis sila sa isla na yon, as according to Pigafetta's record. Pigafetta recounted also that they saw at two balanghay. Balanghay ito ay isang mahabang barko at puno ng tao na which is tinatawag na Majaba. Yung mga tao na yon, as according to Pigafetta, ang king ng balanghay na yon ay nagpadala ng kaniyang mga tauhan sa barkong sinasakyan nila Magellan upang mabigyan ito ng gold at gist of ginger, pero hindi ito tinanggap ni Magellan as if pinabalik ni Magellan ang tauhan ng hari ng Balanghay at pinasabi na ang kailangan ni Magellan ay pera for the needs of his ship at pinasabi din niya na pumunta sila sa isla na yon bilang isang magkaibigan at hindi kaaway. Pagkaraan ng ilang araw, ipinakilala ng King of Balanghay si Magellan sa kanyang kapatid na ito ay king din sa isa pang isla. As Picavetas reports, pumunta sila sa isla na yon na pinamumunahan nung hari nung una niyang nakilala at nakita nila dito ang isang minahan ng mga ginto at ang bahay ng hari ay gawa rin sa ginto. That king was named Raja Colombo, the king of Chalwan and Calagan. After that, on March 31, it is Easter Sunday, nag-utos o nagpatupad si Magellan ng isang pagtitipon. Nang marinig iyon ng dalawang hari ay nagpadala sila ng 2 patay na baboy at pumunta sa nasabing pagtitipon. Kasama ang iba pang king, as according to the Picavetas report, ang dalawang magkapatid ay nagdalo o pumunta sa lugar kung saan magtitipon sila Magellan. In short, the summary of first voyage around the world of Magellan. What is the summary of the first voyage around the world by Magellan? On September 15, 1519, Magellan set sail from Spain in an effort to find a western sea route to the rich spice island of Indonesia. In command of 5 ships and 270 men, Magellan sailed to West Africa and then to Brazil, where he searched the South America coast for a strait that would take him to the Pacific. On September 19, 1519, umalis si Magellan ng Spain kasama niya ang 5 sasakyan, pandalayag to discover western sea route to Spice Island, at doon niya na-discover yung tinatawag ngayon na Straits of Magellan. Siya din yung kauna-unahang European people na nakatawid sa Pacific Ocean. Ang paglalayag nila matagal at delikado at isa lang sa 5 barko ang nakabalik makalipas ang 3 taon. Out of 270 men of original crew of fleet ay 18 lang ang nakabalik kasama ng kanilang ship. Si Magellan ay namatay sa labanan habang sila ay naglalayag, pero ang paglalayag ng kanyang pinaganap ay nagpapatunay na ang mundo ay napapalibutan ng mga dagat at ang mundo ay mas malawak pa sa inaakala lang dati. What is the importance of the first voyage around the world by Magellan by Antonio Picabeta? It's open door in the place where they passed, where people, ideas, and goods were coming and going. It established commercial contact between East and West that remained for countries. Also, it promote the exchanges of multiple sort of experiences, scientific and culture, religious. The importance of first voyage of Magellan and Pigafetta is malaking tulong upang mabuksan ang daan kung saan ngayon ay dinadaanan ng maraming tao na naging daan din ito kung saan nagkaroon ng matatag na ugnayan ang East and West na mananatili sa daang pang taon. For the analysis of Pigafetta's Chronicles, the most important and only complete narrative of the first voyage around the world was written by the young Antonio Pigafetta. Pigafetta's works is important not only as a source of information about the voyage itself, but also includes an early Western description of the people and languages of the Philippines. The importance of Chronicle of Pigapetta is not only about the Bucayes but Pigapeta's Chronicle was one of the most cited documents by historians who wishes to study the pre-colonial Philippines. As according to one historian, he said that the Chronicle of Pigapetta is relevant when you wanted to know when you wanted to study or know pre-colonial Philippines. For for more for more the Chronicle of Pigapetta did publish because Adselio declared that there was no Philippine history before 1872. So, he disqualified Picapetta's manuscript and considered it as a Spanish history. For more importance of Chronicle of Picapeta is also not only about the Bucayes but Picapetas also describe how to take the attitude of the pole star to determine latitude, know the wind direction, and other minor navigation problems. Mistakenly believed that the direction of the compass coincided with the meridian of Iron. And that's all for brief summary of the first voyage around the world by Magellan, by Antonio, and Picapetta. It also the analysis of Picapeta's Chronicle. Thank you po.
My own understanding of the KKK, si Andres Bonifacio ang unang nagsagisag ng bandila ng Pilipinas sa Laguna Church. Siya rin ang nagpasimuno ng KKK upang mailakas sa mga Pilipino noon para lumaban sa mga Kastilang sumakop sa Pilipinas.
KKB means kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangan, katipunan, anak ng bayan ay isang revolusyon sa Pilipinas founded by anti-Spanish ruling Filipino in Manila noong 1892. Ang inmates' goal was to gain independence from Spain sa pamamagitan ng revolusyon. Digo silang ay ikilala bilang isang Ilocano nang kinuha ang sarili or isa siya sa sumuporta sa revolusyon sa bansa. Bago pa man naitatag ang KKB sa bansa, marami na ang mga hindi pagkakaintindihan. Ang mga pesmo. The Katipunan or KK is a secret organization. Hindi lahat pwede sa organization ito. Ang pwede lamang ay magiging member nito ay ang mga aspiring presidential where are give standard intuition needs. Ang mga member ng Katipunan ay mga lalaki lamang hanggang sa tinanggap na nila ang mga babae.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. So now, let's start to our next topic. So, our topic is reading the Proclamation of the Philippine Independence and analysis of the Proclamation of the Philippine Independence. By the way, I'm Sadria Zakaria Badal. Reading the Proclamation of the Philippine Independence. Every year, the country commemorates the anniversary of the Philippine independence proclaimed on June 12, 1898, in the province of Cavite. Indeed, such event is a significant turning point in the history of the country because it signaled the end of 300 years of the Spanish colonization. There have been numerous studies done on the event leading to the independence of the country, but very few students had the chance to read the actual document of the Declaration. This is in spite of the historical importance of the document and the details that the document reveals on the rationale and circumstance of the historical day in Cavite. Interestingly, reading the details of the said document is telling of the kind of government that was created under Aguinaldo and the forthcoming hand of the United States of America in the next few years of the newly created republic. The Declaration was a short 2,000-word document which summarized the reason behind the revolution against Spain, the war for independence, and the future of the new republic under Emilio Aguinaldo. The proclamation commenced with the characterization of the conditions in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. The document especially mentioned abuse and inequalities in the colony. The declaration says, taking into consideration that their inhabitants being already weary of bearing the ominous yoke of Spanish domination, on account of the arbitrary arrest and harsh treatment practiced by the civil guard to the extent of causing death with the cannibals and even with the express order of their commanders, who sometimes went to the extreme of ordering the shooting of prisoners under the pretext that they were attempting to escape, in violation of the provision of the regulation of their corps, which abuse were unpunished and on account of the unjust deportation, especially those decreed by General Blanco, of eminent personage and high social position. At the instigation of Archbishop and priors' interest in keeping them out of the way of their own selfish and avaricious purpose, deportation, which are quickly brought about by a method of procedure more execrable than that of the Inquisition, and which every civilized nation rejects on account of a decision rendered without a hearing of the persons accused. The above passage demonstrates the justification behind the revolution against Spain. Especially cited are the abuse by the civil guards and the unlawful shooting of prisoners whom they allege as attempting to escape. The passage also condemns the unequal protection of the law between the Filipino people and the eminent personage. Moreover, the line mentioned the avarice and greed of the clergy like the priors and the archbishop himself. Lastly, the passage also condemns what they saw as the unjust deportation and rendering of the other decision without proper hearing, expected of civilized nation. From here, the proclamation proceeds with a brief historical overview of the Spanish occupation since Magellan's arrival in Visayas until the Philippine Revolution, with specific details about the letter, especially after the pack of Biak na Bato had collapsed. The document narrates the spread of the movement, like an electric spark, through different towns and provinces like Bataan, Pampanga, Batangas, Bulacan, Laguna, and Moro, and the quick decline of Spanish force in the same province. The revolt also reached Visayas. Thus, the independence of the country was ensured. The document also mentions Rizal's executions. As written in the document, was done to place the greedy body of friars in their insatiable desire to seek revenge upon and exterminate all those who are opposed to their Machiavellian purpose, which tramples upon the penal code prescribed for this island. The document also narrates the Cavite Mutiny of January 1872, that caused the infamous execution of the martyred native friars Jose Burgos, Mariano Gomez, and Jacinto Zamora, whose innocent blood was shed through the intrigues of the so-called religious order that incited the three secular friars in the said mutiny. The Proclamation of Independence also invokes that the established republic will be led under the dictatorship of Emilio Aguinaldo. The first mention was at the very beginning of the proclamation. It states following. In the town of Cavite Viejo, in this province of Cavite, of the 12 days of June 1898, before me, Don Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista, Auditor of War and Special Commissioner, appointed to proclaim and solemnize this act by the dictator of the same Don Emilio Aguinaldo y Pami. The same was repeated toward the last part of the proclamation. It states, "We acknowledge, approve, and confirm together with the orders that have been issued therefrom the dictatorship established by Don Emilio Aguinaldo, whom we honor as the supreme chief of this nation, which thus they commence to have a life of its own, in the belief that he is the instrument selected by God, in spite of his humble origin, to effect the redemption of these unfortunate people, as foretold by Dr. Jose Rizal in the magnificent verses which he composed when he was preparing to be shot, liberating them from the yoke of Spanish domination in punishment of the impunity which their government allowed the commission of abuse of by its subordinate." Another detail in the proclamation that is worth looking at is explained to the Philippine flag that was first waved on the same day. The document explained, and finally, it was unanimously resolved that this nation, independent from his day, must use the same flag used heretofore, whose design and colors are described in the accompanying drawing, with design representing in natural color the three arms referred to. The right triangle represent the distinctive emblem of the famous Katipunan Society, which by means of this compact of blood urged on the masses of the people to insurrection. 3 stars represent the 3 principal islands of this archipelago, Luzon, Mindanao, and Panay, in which this insurrectionary movement broke out. The sun represents the gigantic strides that have been made by the sons of this land on the road of progress and civilization. Its 8 rays symbolizing the 8 provinces of Manila, Cavite, Bulacan, Pampanga, Nueva Ecija, Bataan, Laguna, and Batangas, which were declared in a state of war almost as soon as the first insurrectionary movement was initiated, and the color blue, red, and white commemorate those of the flag of the United States of North America, in manifestation of our profound gratitude toward that great nation for the disinterest she is extending to us and will continue to extend to us. The white triangle represents the Katipunan. The red and blue colors of the flag are associated with courage and peace. So let's proceed to our last topic for this lesson. Our next topic is analysis of the proclamation of the Philippine Independence. Dahil sa muling pag-review sa document ng Proclamation of the Philippine Independence, mas naging malinaw ang mga bagay na nangyari sa panahon na yon, like prior abuse, racial discrimination, and equality. Ngunit, meron pang hindi nabanggit sa document, gaya na lang ng the land and agrarian crisis. Dahil dito, nagbigay ito ng question sa document ng proclamation, lalo na't naging pahayag ng isang Philippine Revolution historian na si Teodoro Agoncillo na ang Philippine Revolution ay isang agrarian revolution. Ang mga sundalo ng Pilipino ay sumali sa revolution sa pag-aasam na makukuha nila ang mga lupain na ginagamit nila sa pagsasaka, at kapag tuluyan ng mawala ang mga praile sa iba't ibang province like Batangas and Laguna, at kapag nagsaksid sila sa revolution na ito laban sa Espanyol. Ang pangyayaring ito na nakaepekto sa maraming Pilipino ay hindi alam ng ating revolutionary leaders gaya nila Emilio Aguinaldo, Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista at Felipe Buencamino. Dahil sa panahon iyon, sila ang naatasan na mamahala sa mga lupain. Dahil dito, nagkaroon ng palaisipan sa mga historian at mga mananaliksik kung bakit hindi sinali ang pangyayaring ito ng ating revolutionary leaders sa document ng proclamation. Dahil ba hindi nila alam ang buong pangyayari o hinayaan lang nila dahil magkakaroon ito ng malaking question sa kanilang pamumuno? Ang proklamasyon na ito ay nagpapakilala sa mga paghihirap at kung paano napagtagumpayan ng government of Aguinaldo ang pagkamit sa kalayaan. Nailarawan din dito ang execution of Gumburza na nabigong pag-aalsa sa Cavite taong 1872 at ang mga gawa ni Jose Rizal. Gumburza refers to the 3 Filipino Catholic priests, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, na na napagbintangan na nasa likod ng pag-aalsa sa Cavite taong 1872. Dahil dito, hinatulan sila ng kamatayan. Pinitay sila gamit ang garote sa Bagong Bayan. Samantala, ang ilan sa mga details ng katipunan na siyang nangunguna sa revolusyon ay nabanggit din naman sa end of the document of proclamation. Ngunit hindi nabanggit dito kung paano nagsimula ang katipunan, maging si Bonifacio at mga co-founder na bumuo ng katipunan ay hindi rin nabanggit sa nasabing document. Samantala, ang war na pinangunahan ni Aguinaldo with the force of US were discussed in details. Samantala, ang away sa pagitan nila Aguinaldos Magdalo at Bonifacios Magdiwang ay hindi sinekreto ng ating kasaysayan. Isa itong patunay na ang document na naglalarawan at nagpapakita sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas ay isinalaysay na kung sino man ang namuno sa panahong iyon. Pinapahiwatig lamang nito na ang makatotohanan man ang mga impormasyon na nakuha natin sa talaan ng government, mas mabuti pa rin kumuha sa iba't ibang original information nang sa ganun ay hindi lamang isang panig ang pinakikinggan at ibabalita natin sa iba. The Proclamation of the Philippine Independence ay nagbigay sa atin ng lesson na kung ang subject ay may kinalaman sa history or kasaysayan, mas mabuti nang humanap ng iba't ibang pangunahing informasyon or primary source nang sa ganon ay makuha natin ang buong details at buong katotohanan.